Hello guys, it's me Garthnix again and welcome back to another week's squad line battle. It's Tuesday, I'm ready to go. Crazy weekend of seasonal stuff just happened. Some real big games there, so kind of, had a lot going on, especially with the recapping yesterday, so it's going to be real nice to just kind of sit back, relax, watch some of this squad line battle a little bit more casual. Of course, those familiar with the concept know this already, but for people new to squad line battle, the way that it basically works is that it's kind of like a competitive match, but also a public match combined. So it's like a public match with people often from competitive teams who know what they're doing. So you join as a squad, and as a squad the idea is that you hopefully know what you're up to, and you can basically bring that to bear for your team. There's a commander on each side who does like a briefing beforehand in the Discord, and hopefully they all play to the plan, but there's not as much planning, nowhere near as much planning as we're going to like a competitive game or whatever. So first, before we get started, I'll just say thanks to the people who've kind of followed since the last stream. So that's Biff Boof, Hive Tick, Seek Storm, I Am Oz, Alceste, it ain't ain't the low, ain't he low, nice. Tommy, Havel Khan, Bunbash Bums, which is a great name, and A Villili, I don't know. Sorry, thanks for the follow, but sorry I can't say a name. Classic problem here on the stream. Okay, so let's just jump over to the strat sketch real quick. We'll kind of discuss it. Don't mind the fact that we've got the things either side, like the allies and axis, because they are actually on the wrong side, but don't tell anyone. So the German line is here, and actually we're streaming German, so let's do them in blue so it's nice and obvious. So they'll be blue in the game, and the allies, sorry, are going to be in red, the US team. So depending on the middle point, as always, this can go kind of either way. They have changed the map significantly since its original form, and the middle points are a lot more even than they once were. I think I believe the Scar was about a foot away from the edge of the sector before, but if I mark in green the sort of boundary limits of the sectors here, or the central sector, then you can kind of see that they're fairly even, or at least a lot more. I think it was like this far before in the old map, but that's a long time ago now. And here on the new map, I think probably the Scar, I would say, favours the Axis, despite being kind of closer to the Allies, because the Axis have a lot of, let's change the colour again so we can see properly. So they have lots of routes of approach. Hello? There you go. Lots of routes of approach, like through this kind of foresty area up here. Also on Siegfried Line, this is kind of all like quite a nice little forested area here that they have a route to approach, and also here. So Siegfried Line and the Scar probably favouring the Axis a little bit, but it's quite even because the Allies do have good spots to get tank shots down onto the points here from many different angles. You can park tanks kind of in really weird spots through the trees and make it real hard for the enemies to shoot you. That counts for AT guns now as well, of course. Like, AT guns are very much more powerful nowadays than they once used to be. We'll probably end up seeing a let me make an icon for you. Tank. Don't know if that works, but oh yeah, here we go. So we'll probably see, let me undo those and then place some tanks kind of down here for the Germans. If it's North Pass, we'll see it up here looking down over the hill here. If I just kind of draw in these lines here, see this is where they're kind of going to be. For the Allies, as I say, more so kind of up in the bushes, maybe even up here. And the same goes for AT guns, as I said before. In terms of the second points, Hill 5 is easy to defend, or Hill 15, sorry, is kind of easy to defend for the Germans if they stay and defend it. The problem with Hill 15 is that it's got lots of different routes of approach. You can come in this way, you can come in this way, and if you manage to get a garrison, if they manage to get a garrison up over here in this low ground area and start to push people up the hill this way, and then they've got people shooting at it from here too, and maybe people just like laying some fire down here, you can see that it gets really, really tricky. So as long as you kind of stay there and like keep angles here to cut off any kind of routes of approach, be really careful about people smoking out and crawling up from this way, it's not too bad to defend. Jacob's very, very tricky. This whole area kind of around it is quite open and not necessarily ideal. Obviously the point's quite small as well, and inside that little kind of built up area, you have to really like sit on it, but at the same time you're just getting shot from all angles, so really not great. Salient 42 to logging camp is one of my least favorite like routes to defend in the whole game. Logging camp is very open up to the north here. There's all these kind of woods, there's these like hills up here, and this can be, maybe I should even do that in red, because that can be a real pain to defend from, and can allow enemies right back into your spawn back here, and now they're shooting you from this way, they're shooting you from salient, they're shooting you from this way and this way and this way, and you're just trying to retreat, and you've got this small kind of avenue of retreat, and it's really, really not great. Again, Salient 42 quite difficult to defend because the allies often can occupy these areas quite easily. There's a lot of cover there to just like lie down, to set stuff up, to push from, and a smoked out push as well coming from this way from Siegfried can also really help. So on the flip side of the map, in these other columns over here, so for the allies, I think probably the Ruin, with a nice, like if you manage to, if you're the Axis, you manage to get your garrison here, you get some really, really great angles of approach at the Ruin, and if it's well coordinated with smokes, then that can really cause a problem. You know, if they're able to smoke out the buildings here, then it's gonna just be a mess. As well, if they manage to kind of get something going on from this side, and especially there's like this little building back here, I'm trying to see, I'll mark it in red, these little buildings back here, these are classic garrison spots. This whole area, if I draw it in green, this whole area in front, is that it looks like a woodland, but it's actually basically an open field, and so you can't really build a garrison there. Obviously, a lot of the time we're expecting to see garrisons be built like right next to the edge of the line, but you just can't because it's an open field, so they often get built back here. So when the Germans come in, they need to make sure that they kind of come back round here and take that out, or push this way and take it out. So Cow Trail, really tricky routes of approach through the woods. There's lots and lots of sort of covered, shelled out woodland out the back, and that makes it a tough point to defend. Also a difficult point to attack because, of course, this whole area up the hill is very, very exposed, and not at all a nice area to be. North Pass, basically the most important place for anybody to take, in my opinion anyway, is up here. This forested area here is, whoever holds this holds North Pass, because you can't be flanked, like nobody can get round this way, right? And so all of the power for both teams comes from either the Germans being able to push down into the point down here and loop around, or for the Americans to be able to defend out this way and feed people down into North Pass to defend, right? So very, very important area. At Weybach, there is this, again, like a wooded area, as I mentioned, kind of along here, and that's a good staging point for an attack from the Germans, and really important that the USA keep their back garries up. Again, the Germans can kind of get around the back here. If they manage to get a garrison here, then it can be all over. Mausbach approach, reserve station, and lumberyard. simply put, are all horrible to defend. I really don't like them. Mouseback's probably the most defensible because of where your spawn is, but it's not ideal still. So, okay, we're about to restart the server. I think we've basically got everybody in. So this insane strat sketch that you're looking at now, I will kind of put that away. I haven't mentioned Groschau approach and HURTGEN approach, I realised, but Groschau again suffers from kind of being pushed up the hill this way, but and also through this wood, because it's actually quite a difficult little spot to see through some of this woodland here if you're a defender. So it can be pushed from that way. And HURTGEN approach is a weird one because a lot of this area here is like quite shelled out and relatively open. Hello. Can't get my thing to work there. Yeah, this is all quite open through here, or like relatively so, and so quite difficult to push around if you're the allies. You often have to go like right the way around here to get in the back, and it's not at all easy. You have to go all the way through, and it's very like defensible from just having people basically camping in this area. As well, there's a lot of like bunker systems here, like this little trench here, this trench, they're not insignificant, and shots out from this bunker and these bunkers here are really powerful. This trench is really deep, good place for a Gary, or often a garrison's placed there. Of course, like I say, if you can, as the Americans, if you can get around the back, the places to go is to send somebody to this trench here, and also try and cross the road and have people like looping around this way, or even pushing in from here as well. You have to be able to pinch that last point. It's probably the most defensible one that they've got. On the other side of the map, like reserve station, is just trash. Lumberyard is also kind of trash because it's like very open actually on the hard cap. Mouseback approach is probably the best one because it's got these buildings. You can actually kind of stand behind this building at least and not die instantly. This is quite open as well out here. It's the green pen. Like this out here is like a little bit open, so it's not an angle of approach, so you end up kind of getting pushed really from sort of more predictable angles, like through this way. Oh, using the wrong tool again. Through this way, and kind of down the road through the woods from that important area that I marked out before. So that is a mess, as you can see. Let's get rid of it, and hopefully we can get into the game in just a second. Everyone's here. It should be starting literally any moment. Before we get going, do make sure, this is my shameless plug moment, I suppose, do make sure to take a look at the YouTube. I've put all of the Squadline Battle stuff that I've recorded so far up on the YouTube. The link is just here somewhere, on the page right in front of you somewhere, just under the screen, I think, or the window. And yeah, go check it out, because there's like some really good games on there, and some interesting kind of stories, especially with like Fucksec playing 2 games. I think Bullseye's commanded a couple games as well, so it's interesting to like see some some ups and downs of people's commanding career here at Squadline Battle, to hear some of the chats with the commanders as well. Hopefully new players and veterans could get some insight from that, especially if you're looking to play commander, be it here or on a public server especially, but also of course as a competitive commander, although that's like a whole nother level of strats and stuff. Yeah, do check that out on the YouTube. Also the videos that are up just here underneath, or on my video section on the Twitch, do check those out too. Of course, we got fantastic gameplay from this and last weekend from the seasonal. I think we had Finns Let Loose versus Hell Let Loose Poland and CC from last weekend, and then this weekend, of course, Core versus Blacklist, which is a huge game. Really privileged to be able to cast that one and bring bring that one to people. So do check those out. Also check out the recapping for like a whole summary of last week. The one that's below in the video section is the one from last Monday, but if you want to check out the one from Monday yesterday, do go over to Known Connection on Twitch. Just type in Known Connection in the search bar, find his channel, and check out the recapping from yesterday. We take it in turns, go 1 week on his, 1 week on mine, because it's a lot to do and a lot to host, so having two of us, I think, helps it be a good show, but it also helps us to give each other a break every now and again. So go, make sure you support him. Check out the show from yesterday. That's where it is, over on his stream. I've had a couple of people messaging me asking where it is. That's where it is, over on his stream. And then after, he'll upload it onto YouTube as well. Let me check. Are we ready? Yes, we are. Let's get going. Okay, so we've got the setup starting. It's the Scar as the middle point, which is always a fun one. I'm going to just get up in the air for you guys, and then I will take off the overlay. Here we go. So as you can see, it's the Scar, HURTGEN approach, Salient 42 on the German side, and the Ruin and Lumberyard on the other side for the Allies. I was hoping today that we were going to have a guest on, and I was going to be able to set you up with the two maps. I'll show you the screen that is going to be. Hopefully this will be starting next week. You see this? So we can have like the two maps come up. So if I do this, you can see, and this other one would show like the other map here. So you know, scream if you want to go faster. Let me know if that's something that you actually want. For me to get both maps. I think it would be pretty helpful. It's something I've really wanted to do for a while now, but just let me know what you think about that one. Right, think about it, man. Right, so we've got some I'm not used to being a squad leader now because of seasonal. They don't let you be a squad leader, but we've got the commanders markers gone down below us. Place a garrison over here, place an OP attack on this area. You can see that where I marked earlier, that's an important place for a garrison. They've already placed a move marker for Jneale, the leader of the Demos community, who's obviously squad leading here today. Somebody's going north. Who's the commander? Is this who we got? BBS Jneale, and I think on the other team is, yeah, what the hell, HouseGangster. So this should be a really interesting match. I don't know what Jneale like he's played before, so again, like I said a minute ago, like do check out some of the old videos over on the YouTube from like this year's games and like some of the games from last year as well. And Jneale is one of our kind of returning commanders, so it'd be good to see what he's got, as is HouseGangster, of course, who's played against Fucksec and maybe another time as well, but you'll have to let me know when you check out the videos. HouseGangster kind of a bit famous for very attacking play, so we'll kind of try and check for the rear and see if we got supplies dropping like immediately, but I haven't heard a plane yet. I think they're just outside of the window still. This artillery's coming in hot on PHX Cheese. Is that Jesus Christ? Quite possibly. And despite actually having some players inside the hard cap, it looks like it was being capped by the Germans then, very briefly. Big L, fantastic player from SCDB, but goes down to Cheese over here. PHX, that'll be a good game, PHX versus SCDB. Mulverfelchen, legend of Hell Let Loose, wow, gets the trade, but gets killed by their friendly arty, I guess. I think it's friendly, I'm not too sure. This is where it would be good to have both maps, but you can see this wooded area that I mentioned before. This is where the Germans are pushing through underneath us, and they've set their OPs up kind of surrounding the Scar. This is smoke shells coming in as well to help with the push, but Fisk and the what the hell guys down here, Blitzoy, we've got Crazy Rammer as well, Sepple Rocks, we've got Lucan down here, You Hate Ice below us as well, who you would have seen playing in that Core versus Blacklist game. they're all kind of moving out into this area, and this area here can be a bit deceptive. It can be a useful place to have to hold off. Like, it's important not to let them get too close, as we can see the recon plane has identified a lot of them going over the top here. But it can also be a bit of a trap. If you get pushed too far down that road as a defender, you can kind of get drawn out position, and where you really want to be is basically at the scar, and using other stuff like artillery and tank support, really ideally, to take out the players in that area. But the Allies cleared out the scar now below us, and Bubbles here from STDB, the squad leader, moving into the area, but there's no Germans other than him in the area. What's up, Spitzkatze? Very nice to see you. Obviously 15 minutes delay on chat, so let me know if there's anything wrong with the stream. There were a couple technical issues yesterday during the recapping. Anyone who saw that, I went back to the 1950s. I was some kind of like retro, my cam had like a retro effect on it somehow. I don't really understand. Something to do with no connections, chroma key, I don't know. Okay, little cheeky tank here. Don D tank crew, interesting. Push through in their recon vehicle. The Greyhound below us, maybe going to get shot in the back by Bjorn. He's got his rocket out. Nice hit. Okay, so they've managed to get their garrisons up here then, and Jneale is not going to want to be slouching here, because I bet already, I haven't heard them go down yet, but I bet already there's supplies falling over here and a flank occurring. Yep, look, we can see already that there's allied players going around to Salient 42, and as I mentioned before, Salient 42, not a nice point to defend, and certainly one that you don't want to have to be spawning back to and filtering up to, because it is this kind of fortress. If the enemy are there first, you know, they can get good shots on you. So intending to build another garrison there, but I'll a little bit exposed perhaps. This lot over here, have they got a garrison down? Maybe they're just on the attack, I'm not too sure. Right now we're down here in E8, kind of looking this way, just off the edge of the map there. And this is basically Salient 42. This is the hard point, effectively. Oh, for a secret line, sorry, not Salient 42. So the Scar kind of devoid of players at the moment, which is interesting. The Allies holding it really without being inside the point. Good if you can, but risky. Pushing around to the side here, I see the supply truck up here where they tried to build this garrison, but You Hate Ice has, I think, shot somebody off a bit there. And despite having some supplies placed, they're not actually able to do much with them. You can see there's a lot of allies below us in this kind of these woods here. If you look at the curve of the road, you can see that that's this road here below us, and here where King Outpost is this kind of wooded area. There's quite a few allies here, but again, this can be, for whoever's defending Scar, this area here, and especially out into these other sectors where you're not providing capping power, they can kind of be a bit of a bait, and you can end up kind of pushing out into the wrong sector. And they've got a long flank to go, but I bet that House is wanting to put something back here or around these kind of areas to get real close to HURTGEN, because once they cap that area, it's so important for them, like if they get Salient 42, it's so important for them to be that close, like to take advantage of that distance, because the distance from the HQ spawn, if that's, you know, there are no other spawns as we can see, so the distance from there is going to take like, well, it's about 50 seconds to run one of these whole 200 meter squares. So what's that? Definitely way over a minute. So not ideal for the defenders if there is obviously a garrison here, if they do take the point. But right now, it looks like the Axis are making some pretty good attempts at attack. Curse to the commentator there, they're getting absolutely obliterated. I think they might have an OP just there. That's a tank. Is it the 75 or the 76? It is the 75 still, up on point. We're 120 remaining, so there can be a 76 around, can be a Tiger. It's probably not up yet. But the Tiger, here it is. Tiger's going to be wanting to push this area. Let's have a look below us. There they are. Getting a bit of bother though, it looks, from Johannes from SCDB. critical over there. We're going to place the OP for the recon squad. And you can see they're kind of trying to flank round already, and Big L's realised that something's going on here and is fallen back. Big L, a great player, very coordinated squad from SCDB, and they've done the right thing. This Hell Let Loose Poland squad here and HURTGEN from Team Phoenix, it looks like they are kind of pushing through this wooded area, trying to secure that defence. I don't know if they built that garrison there, where the build garrison marker was. I think it was this one, wasn't it? Or was it over here? But I think they've kind of got this area pretty locked down at the moment. They've also got a Lux here in place to kind of cover some of that space through the trees there. And it is allowing them to push a little bit, but they have got this flank on. These guys here are probably a bit stuck out in the middle of nowhere. Yep, and they go down. Quick stack is from Phalanx, the Greek community, Hellenic community I should say, getting shot in the back there, just trying to get back over here. The Arc guys playing really well at the weekend, the ones who played, I'm not sure it was these guys. They were joined up, I believe, with some of the Blacklist team. Certainly, I think a tank squad. Somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong. I really want to see where these attacking garrisons are going, because I just know that they're going to be very aggressive garrisons here with House commanding. Scary below is hot, but they are sort of holding the line here, the Germans, and doing what they need to do. Ideally, obviously, they want to get a bit closer to the Scar, but right now it is what it is. Stephen over there from Barbed Wire Collectors Club might be able to get something going on kind of garrison-wise. You can see that he's over here, so outside of the sector, but Jneale is actually building over here, as you can see, a garrison to try and kind of get that pinch going on, which is really important at the Scar. Take out any spawns that they have behind over here near Cow Trail, which you can see those bombed out buildings there, to stop them from being able to kind of get back. Then you need that smoke, you need that really heavy artillery support, need the tanks to be pushed up and get just a good full frontal assault, basically a meat grinder going on the Scar, and then kind of flank around underneath probably, or from the other side of the river, and go in from the bottom. As I mentioned, a meat grinder important here. The Scar and Salient 42 have quite a long distance between them, as you can see, and keeping this line in between the two is going to be really vital. It's very tempting to try and get lots of flanks going on, but unless they keep like a good kind of defense in depth and also a nice wide kind of blocked out front line, as it were, between the Scar and Salient, then they could get quite easily like encircled. And actually, here's STDB Doctor and Cheese with a whole squad each. These are actual infantry squads, they're not recon. See White Death and Bofrost, both AT guys. And here comes the smoke artillery. This is the push. Have they got enough people? I don't know if they've got a garrison down here. They might do. You can see this garrison's hot behind. HURTGEN with a chance to get some kills on them coming up the hill, but yes, they do have a garrison back there. This is classic HouseGangster now. And they're starting to cap Salient. Where is it? Or is it an airhead? Could be an airhead dropped in the trees here. No, garrison. You can see it there through the trees. And they've already got these guys spreading out around. Cheese done the right thing, kept it wide, hasn't just been tempted to charge everybody into the centre, and that's going to be causing a big problem here. HURTGEN going down from Team Phoenix. I love that there's one smoke shell. That's all we need, guys, just one. This OP's very risky down here out in the open. Major D, Doctor have the opportunity to get the kills here. Major D, is he going to go down to Woodland? I don't know if he's even seen him there. He's that close. Somebody did. Johannes may be up the hill there, but this is 3-1 now inside of Salient 42 and looking real bad. This is a speculative bombing run coming in behind from Jneale, but I don't think it's not quite in that right area. As we saw, that garrison is actually back here. So really like classic, like you can see literally right in the corner here, and just allowing them to push up. They're going to be dropping their OPs as well. I bet that there's already a garrison being made here, and I can see the Charlie squad marker is out over here, indicating to me that surely enough, Laupet, look, going, squad leader, where are these supplies? I bet there's supplies here already. Oh, I don't want to miss the cap, but he's over here already, look. Just waiting for it. Keep an eye on this area, because that garrison will go up as soon as this gets flipped. Look how the Germans are struggling to get back, and it's what I was saying before, without those garrisons, just not able to even contest this. Well spread out here, the Allies on the hill. Really hard to fight against. You take one shot from behind a tree, somebody from a different angle sees you. Here we go, they're gonna have this built, I guarantee it. Right, let's wait for the spawn wave. Harken, no! He goes down by the supply truck. He was the last chance to get that garrison there down. They can get one here. King Squad's going to go for it. That's Big L again on the defense. He knows the inevitable situation here. Laupet staying alive. I want to see where they're going to spawn in from, because I bet it's going to be right below us. They are getting here into that trench area in the back that I said before was that kind of classic Gary location. But with SRTT up on the bunker that I was saying is so important, it's a real tricky approach up the road, and through that trench is really the only way, which gives these guys time to push up a little bit. They just need to not get caught in these kind of gunfights on this side of the road. They need to get across the road, get into that trench. But they are halfway capping the last point here, and it's only 15 minutes into the game. This is not looking good at all for the Germans. This is not what they wanted this evening. And nobody who plays Squad Line Battle wants the game to be over quite this quick, except potentially HouseGangster. There's the OP. Can't believe there's not a garrison here. That truck's destroyed. Look at this spawn wave coming in. And they have got enough guys, I'm looking at the top of the screen now, to contest this area. They are defending. The Germans are defending this. And that's why they've got to get into those trenches here, the Allies, if they're going to have any chance. Look how many Germans are pouring in here. That's their whole team. That's like 25 people there. But look, there's dudes here already. Here comes the bombing run for the Allies. Not a bad one, but it's not quite on that spawn wave. Could have been, but it's hard to tell where they're exactly going to spawn in. Wow, somebody fell through the map there. Marked on the recon, we can see them already as the red berries on the screen. The Axe is managing to hold them off for now, but they do have a lot of people inside this circle, and they need to get more people inside the circle here. If the Allies can get, I don't know, 10 people maybe inside that circle, then they can possibly start to cap this back. They are in a tricky spot though, because without having good shots on this spawn point, you know, they do have kind of a multi-flanked defense going on here, and look, you can see House telling them actually get inside the hard point, because that's the way they're going to cap this, and they are capping it at the moment. Each person inside that black circle counting as 3. Each person outside in the squares, the sector around it, just count as 1. Got this little tank coming in now. Is it a Lux? Can he do anything? Difficult with these guys in the trenches here, as I mentioned. They just need to get in that trench, stay alive inside the circle, not push out too much. I can see that they are still capping here. We're almost halfway capped again. 1 minute 10 left in the game. The Lux doing its best to try and lay some fire on, but if they just stay alive, House will be telling them, stay alive, don't die. They might have this, because at the moment, even with all these German players around, it's nowhere near enough in the sector to defeat this many on the hard cap. And actually, we can kind of see that where the defense marker is, where Dog OP is, just here where they've spawned in the PHX squad, there's also allies there too. There's allies far back and allies out wide. I think this could be it. They're now spawning in, I saw just below me, the Allies very, very close to the trench, not allowing this fresh spawn wave off the HQ to get close enough. The Luck's doing the right thing, pushing into the hard point, but takes one up the arse from Blitzoy. He's got to get in there and clear some of them off. It's not working at the moment. Takes one out. Blitzoy's reloaded. I don't know if he's got another rocket. Otherwise, it's a bit uncontested. But Staple Rocks, Vicox, Sepal Rocks, sorry, and Vicox coming in to, again, get more bodies inside that circle. And look at this. They've circled round Doctor's squad and Fisk. They've taken out that spawnway pretty much. And another one comes in straight to the gunfire. And this is going to be it. 1 hour, 8 minutes remaining. And it's a very, very quick victory there. A very quick victory for the Allies. Big respect there to HouseGangster and to the Allies for absolutely slapping. It's never what you like to see. It's always good to get a nice kind of long hour and a half out of your Tuesday night game. You know, they're special games where people actually know what they're doing. It's not just pub games that you have to suffer through. So it's always nice to get a good game in, a nice long one. But well, like I said, when you play against HouseGangster, he doesn't care about any of that. So it's often very difficult. Make sure I just showed the scores there, but like make sure to kind of pause it if you want to see anyone in particular. We've got just a shout out to the communities. We've got Demos, we've got Hell Let Loose Poland. Sorry, they're knocked out now of the tournament. We've got Team Phoenix, we've got Phalanx. I forget, they're huge team. I don't know. Arc, SCDB, Barbed Wire Collectors Club, more SCDB. What is this? Is this 116? I feel like maybe it's 116. Fins Let Loose as well. Then on the other side, we got What the Hell with the sort of powerful squad there. Lucan, What Worm. Then First Armored, I guess, is what First Day means. 38. PHX, Don D. Shout out to them for the providing the server tonight, and for Core providing the server for server 1. Yeah, that was a quick one. That was a quick one. Can't say I'm too surprised, to be honest, because I know how House plays. Is he going to want to come on the show? Let's see. Apparently he did a quick one for me because he knows that I'm tired this evening after a long weekend, so he didn't want to keep me up. So he kept the game nice and short, completely steamrolled, because he's going to take 100% full credit. We'll see if he wants to come on and talk about it. Shout out to everyone in the chat, by the way. What's up, No Connection? What have you done now? Maybe I missed that. What's going on, Smithscash there? Schmidt, mate, I was literally lying in bed last night, like trying to practice saying your name. Schmitzkatze. Schmitzkatze. Yeah? Like, I just need to move my mouth more. I can't just be like Schmitzkatze. I have to actually, enunciate. Okay, sweet. He's going to come on. So let's jump into the interview chat. Maybe try and talk to Jneale as well. I want to send him a message at least. Jneale. Trying to get House to come to the interview chat, but he seemingly won't at the moment. Let me just invite Neil to my little server here.
Hello?
Hello, mate. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a very quick one. I mean, what is there to say about it? What went well? You dropped your supplies and got that garrison up behind Salient 42. That went well.
Yeah, and the first round in the half time, I spawned it on north and just took it for a ride from north to south, and then everything was easy. because I got like 3 squad leads spawning, which are like, in my opinion, one of the best squad leads in this game. Um, from us is Fisk,
Yep.
WTH from Raptors, which is Blacklist now. It's Falco, and the third one is PHX, which is Cheese. So we had those 3 spawning on the backside.
Yes, I mean
Yeah,
we saw that there were some pretty good squad leaders, and despite good squad leaders on the other side in defence, like shout out to Big L, but yeah, you guys were very well coordinated. Um, is it you obviously didn't have very long before the game? Did you kind of speak to the the squad leaders before the game and tell them this is the plan, or did you just
yeah.
think, hey guys, you
Well,
just charge the point and I'll take the half track?
I just asked one question at the start. Who wants to defend? Who feels like defending today? So I had only one squad lead, sorry, that said I will. That was first A or something, or
Yep.
501st, but I don't know for sure because it was a mixture
Yeah.
between his clan
First
tag.
day. Yeah. I.
First day and at the final 501st. I don't know. I see them for the first time,
Yeah.
and
Me too.
yeah, they said they want to defend, and then STDB and I think PHX, Falco said that they want to defend as well if needed.
Right.
So it wasn't needed, but they really stood on the point until we capped. Um,
Yeah, I saw you had a
well,
lot of guys still inside of Scar and like
it was
around
only
that
one squad.
and around that, but pushing up through the woods there and keeping that front line between the 2 points whilst people went around the back and built that garrison. And then by the time the garrison's up and you've got 2 squads there already before, well, so they didn't even spawn at the garrison, did they? I think like you had 2 squads around the back of Salient 42 and the
With the half
garrison
track.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they spawned with the hard track. We didn't even see that through the trees on my stream, but yeah, then they were pushing in, and as they were pushing in, another spawn wave came in at that back garrison, and yeah, that was it. Once you had them all spread out over the top of the salient, well, it's real hard to fight in the trees there, isn't it? So, like for the Germans to kind of try and fall back in and push back into salient 42 is really hard. And
yeah,
I just knew as well, like with the last point there being the one on HURTGEN approach, it's got that close proximity to the edge of the line, and so I saw that there were squads there already, basically waiting
yeah.
to get
But
their
we had the Gary
OPs
there.
up. Yeah, that's why I thought that you would have had supplies there and put the Gary up straight
We
away.
we had 3 pair of supplies being on the 8th square.
And
So
then you were up. You had another squad. Was it Cheese's squad, like up above Groschau as well?
no, there was only the Rico squad there who was pushing south, and he
So
placed the Gary on H5, like
because there
north of
definitely a bunch of
trenches.
people came in both sides. Because at the end there, they were really capping the like destroying the people on the garrison spawn. They wrapped all the way around. So
Mhm.
um, for the benefit of the viewers is what I'm talking about. I don't know why the some of these are still on here, but don't seem to be able
Yeah.
to get rid of them. Is there anything that you could have done differently? I mean, obviously you won it in like 20 minutes. Did anything go wrong?
No, it went flawless with everyone, and everything went, and even the nodes and everything went accordingly. I think only the tanks were a little bit short, like with the kills and everything, but infantry that we had overrun the, the enemies today.
Yeah. Well, fair play to everyone that played. I think the Axis maybe not ready for what you guys had in store for them. They didn't have many people back in defence at Salient 42, and I think that cost them. There was only I think one squad back there, and it was like a half a squad when your guys rolled in, and then kind of dominoed with the last point there, and they didn't even have a garrison up at that stage at the last point. So really hard for them
Mm.
to run from
We
the
had 3
HQ
around.
spawn. Yeah, exactly.
We had
So
one on the front line, one behind the point, and I dropped an airhead northeast of the last point. So we
yeah,
had one frontline Gary, the airhead, and the Gary behind behind the point, like literally close to the RT.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So pretty devastating, basically. So
yeah.
yeah, the lesson there for anybody who's who's watching is, I don't know, defend. Uh,
Mm, I'm looking at the stream now because it's late. I
yeah,
see
yeah.
this bottom Gary on HA. You are not allowed to let that spot without a carry or an OP, because that's a one time only chance for the allies to push from there, and you need to like interact with that from the first sign that they're there. So I was looking at the map earlier because it's still delayed, and I was seeing that they had literally no backup carries on eye line.
Mm.
You can't do that. You cannot have like literally no carries
Wait,
from
you looked
behind.
at the stream while you were playing?
No. Now I'm looking at
I
the
was gonna
stream because
say,
like
geez, man,
it's delayed. I
that's
have
not
only
fair.
one monitor, so I don't do that shit.
Um,
Anyway,
but yes, no, you're right, and you know, like where you managed to get that garrison up, I don't have the lines on my map here like labeled, but in like this basically behind Salient 42, just in front
mm,
of logging camp. I think that's where you're talking about in H8.
yeah, yeah.
Like that, like you say, that's such an important spot
Yeah.
for attack and defense, that having nobody or nothing in that area um, to fight off the attack from there is a big mistake.
Or at
And
least know that we're coming from there.
well, because they had the proxied Gary, absolutely, yeah,
Nah,
yeah. Okay, well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for playing. Thanks to all the
thanks for
players,
bringing me in.
as always. Probably not as long as some of them would have wanted tonight, but you know, that's what you get. Sometimes you take the
Well,
rough with the smooth.
it happened to me too, being in the losing squad. So it's not something certain on Squad Live Battle that you will have a game for 1 hour and a half. You can get those type of games as well. It happened to me, and yeah, I was on the losing squad then, so
Yeah,
it
well,
can
I mean,
happen to
that's why
anyone.
I like to cast, so I never have to suffer those kind of heartaches. Just sometimes when I mess up my stream really bad, but touch wood, it's been a while. But thank you for coming on. Thanks again,
Thank
as
you.
always, to the organisers. So that's Werner Voss, Dragster, S1, all the other people behind the scenes. Make sure to sign up because the registration is going to be open tomorrow, as always, on a Wednesday. And come play Squad Line Battle next week. Hopefully, you will either be as dominant as House was tonight, or you at least will have a long game and a meat grinder to enjoy. Thank you. Thanks, House.
Good night.
Good night, mate. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, I'll raid somebody, so stick around and I'll raid someone.